doesn't come from enemies. It comes from those you trust the most.
The friend who suddenly turns cold, the partner who walks away without explanation, the colleague who stabs you in the back when you least expect it. And the worst part? You never saw it coming. Today, we're diving deep into the silent but piercing world of betrayal, unraveling why those closest to us can sometimes become the source of our greatest disappointments. But why does this happen? How does someone shift from friend to foe overnight? Is there a way to recognize the signs before the damage is done? Drawing from ancient Stoic wisdom and modern psychology, we'll explore the hidden mechanisms of betrayal, and more importantly, how to protect yourself without losing faith in the power of human connection. This is more than just a discussion. It's a journey into one of the most painful yet revealing aspects of human relationships. By the end of this video, you'll see your relationships through a new, more empowered lens. If you find value in what we're exploring here, the best way to support us is simple. Hit that subscribe button and stay with us until the end. Every piece of information we share could be the key to unlocking deeper insights into human nature and achieving true peace of mind. So let's begin. Have you ever felt the sting of betrayal? It's a pain that seems to come out of nowhere, yet it cuts deeper than most. Imagine a friend who has stood by your side for years suddenly stops reaching out, offering no explanation. Or a partner who turns distant overnight, leaving only silence and confusion in their wake. These aren't just heartbreaks. They're profound emotional shocks because they come from the people we trust most. Betrayal is often portrayed as a dramatic twist in movies and stories. But in real life, it's quieter, yet just as devastating. It's not our enemies who inflict the deepest wounds. It's those closest to us. As Carl Jung insightfully noted, the larger the front, the larger the back, meaning the deeper our trust, the deeper the potential for betrayal. Behind the masks of those we believe we know best lies the possibility of deception. This reality echoes the Stoic understanding of life's unpredictability and the need for internal strength. Philosophers like Seneca taught that while we can't control the actions of others, we can control our reactions, and in doing so, we remain unshaken by external misfortunes. When it comes to betrayal, this mindset allows us not only to anticipate its possibility, but to navigate it with resilience. Betrayal, in many ways, is a test of our ability to see human nature clearly. It forces us to question our judgments about others and reflect on the nature of our relationships. Are we truly seeing people as they are, or as we wish them to be? This isn't a call to cynicism, it's a call to realism, a core principle in both Stoic philosophy and psychology. By understanding the psychological roots of betrayal, as discussed by thinkers like Jung, we can better prepare ourselves for the complexities of human relationships without losing hope in them. Human relationships are complex, often influenced by unseen forces within us. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow self, the darker, unacknowledged parts of our personality, suggests that betrayal is often rooted in unresolved inner conflicts. Those who betray us may not fully understand their own motives. They act from a place within themselves that remains unexamined, driven by emotions they have yet to confront. As we navigate our relationships, it is wise to remain both vigilant and compassionate, recognizing that every person carries an inner world as intricate and troubled as our own. This perspective does more than shield us from pain. It deepens our understanding of human behavior, grounding us in empathy and awareness. Now, let's explore how we can detect the early signs of betrayal, not with suspicion, but with wisdom and insight. The psychology behind betrayal. When someone betrays us, it's easy to assume their actions are purely malicious or selfish. But if we look deeper, we often find a web of psychological struggles and unresolved inner conflicts at the heart of their behavior. Carl Jung introduced the concept of the shadow self, the hidden part of our psyche where we suppress traits and impulses we deem unacceptable. These buried aspects don't disappear. They manifest in unconscious ways, influencing behavior in ways even the individual may not recognize. This idea closely aligns with Stoic philosophy, which teaches that inner turmoil arises when we fail to live in accordance with reason and nature. Marcus Aurelius often spoke of the inner citadel, a fortress of virtue and rationality within each of us. When people fail to reconcile their internal contradictions and instead let their shadow self take control, the results can be destructive, not just to others, but to themselves. Imagine a supportive friend who suddenly becomes distant, critical, or even deceitful. At first, their behavior seems out of character, but upon closer examination, you realize their actions stem from unspoken envy or insecurity. Perhaps they see in you the achievements or qualities they secretly desire, but feel incapable of attaining. Their betrayal, then, is not necessarily a personal attack, but a projection of their own unmet aspirations and frustrations. As Jung might suggest, they are transferring their inner conflicts onto you because it is easier to externalize these struggles than to face them internally. The Stoic approach to betrayal. From a Stoic perspective, betrayal presents an opportunity not just to guard ourselves from pain, but to cultivate understanding and resilience. The Stoics teach us to look within and fortify our minds against life's inevitable hardships, including the painful missteps of those closest to us. By developing a strong inner life, we become less vulnerable to the actions of others, not by shutting people out, but by recognizing the weaknesses that drive them. Instead of reacting with bitterness, we respond with wisdom and emotional strength. Integrating Jung's psychological insights with Stoic wisdom allows us to navigate relationships with greater clarity. We learn to recognize signs of internal conflict in others and respond with both discernment and empathy, recognizing the subtle signs of betrayal. Betrayal doesn't always happen in a single dramatic moment. It often unfolds gradually, like a storm forming on the horizon. At first, the shifts are almost imperceptible, but if you pay attention, you'll notice the signs. Recognizing these warning signals requires keen awareness, a trait valued in both psychology and Stoic philosophy. At the core of betrayal lies behavioral shifts that may seem minor at first, but gradually form a pattern. A once open friend suddenly becomes distant or secretive. Conversations that were once warm turn colder, more formal. Subtle jabs or passive-aggressive remarks increase over time. Someone who once celebrated your successes now seems indifferent, or even resentful. Carl Jung's shadow self is especially relevant here. When individuals feel threatened by their own suppressed desires or unresolved emotions, their outward behavior changes, first subtly, then more overtly. Stoicism teaches us to observe these shifts without becoming paranoid. Seneca advised us to be as mindful of the character and temperament of those around us as we are of our own thoughts. By staying aware of changes in behavior, we can discern genuine friendships from those harboring hidden resentment. The small signs matter. A friend who used to share openly now withdraws. Their tone changes. A wall slowly forms between you. These are the early indicators of inner conflict manifesting outwardly and often precede deeper acts of betrayal. Responding with strength and insight. From a Stoic perspective, recognizing these signs isn't about becoming cynical or defensive. Instead, it's about cultivating self-awareness, resilience, and wisdom. By understanding the psychological underpinnings of betrayal, we can prepare ourselves mentally and emotionally for the complexities of human relationships, respond with clarity instead of reactionary pain, ensuring we don't let betrayal define us. Approach situations with a balanced perspective, recognizing that others' actions often stem from their own struggles. not just an intent to harm. Betrayal may be painful, but through a combination of stoic wisdom and psychological insight, we can navigate it with strength, understanding, and an unwavering sense of inner peace. Understanding betrayal through Jungian and Stoic perspectives, human relationships are intricate, shaped by both conscious choices and unconscious influences. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow refers to the hidden, often darker aspects of our personality, parts we deny or fail to acknowledge. When people betray us, their actions often stem from unresolved inner conflicts they may not even fully comprehend. These unconscious struggles drive behavior in ways that are beyond their immediate awareness. As we navigate relationships, it's essential to remain both vigilant and compassionate, recognizing that every person carries an inner world as complex as our own. This perspective does more than shield us from emotional pain. It deepens our understanding of human nature, grounding us in empathy and wisdom. Instead of responding with suspicion, we can approach potential betrayal with insight and foresight. At first glance, it may be easy to view acts of betrayal as purely malicious or selfish. However, when we look deeper, we often uncover a web of psychological complexities and unresolved emotions at the root of such behavior. Jung introduced the idea of the shadow self, a hidden aspect of our psyche where we store traits and impulses we deem unacceptable. These repressed elements don't simply disappear. They continue to influence our actions in ways we might not even recognize. This concept aligns with Stoic philosophy, particularly its view on internal conflict. The Stoics, including Marcus Aurelius, spoke of the inner citadel, a fortress of virtue and reason within each person. When individuals fail to reconcile their internal contradictions, they may allow their shadow self to take control, leading to destructive choices that harm both others and themselves. Consider a friend who has always been supportive, but suddenly begins acting out of jealousy or insecurity. Their behavior may seem out of character, but it could stem from their own unmet ambitions or frustrations. In this case, their betrayal is less about attacking you personally and more about their struggle with feelings of inadequacy. Jung would suggest that they are projecting their shadow onto you, finding it easier to confront these traits in another person than within themselves. From a Stoic perspective, this situation offers an opportunity to practice resilience and understanding. Rather than dwelling on the hurt, we can recognize that betrayal is often a result of internal struggles. The Stoics teach us to fortify our inner selves so that external actions, whether positive or negative, do not shake our sense of peace. By strengthening our internal resilience, we are less vulnerable to the behavior of others, not by building emotional walls, but by understanding human frailty. Integrating Jungian psychology with Stoic wisdom provides a nuanced view of human behavior. It helps us navigate relationships with greater clarity, allowing us to identify signs of internal conflict and respond with empathy rather than bitterness. Betrayal rarely happens in an instant. It often unfolds gradually, like a storm forming on the horizon. Subtle behavioral changes, such as a shift in tone, growing secrecy, or a decrease in warmth, can serve as early warning signs. Recognizing these signals requires awareness, a quality emphasized in both psychology and Stoic philosophy. Jung's theory of the shadow reminds us that repressed emotions eventually surface, often in unexpected ways. Likewise, Stoicism teaches the importance of self-control and vigilance, not just over our own emotions, but in observing those of others. Seneca advised that we should assess the character and temperament of those around us, as this awareness helps us distinguish true friends from those who may harbor hidden resentment. These warning signs might manifest as subtle jabs disguised as jokes, a growing emotional distance, or an increasing inconsistency between words and actions. Marcus Aurelius encouraged an attuned understanding of human nature, recognizing that people act in accordance with their character. By anticipating the possibility of betrayal before it unfolds, we can shield ourselves from its worst effects without harboring anger or resentment. The process of detecting betrayal is not about paranoia or defensiveness. It's about cultivating insight and emotional intelligence. It encourages us to develop an empathetic yet cautious approach to relationships, balancing trust with the wisdom of experience. Instead of constructing emotional barriers, we strengthen our internal resilience, allowing us to face challenges with dignity and strength. Betrayal often wounds us more deeply than other forms of disappointment because it strikes at the foundation of trust in our closest relationships. The pain feels personal because these are people we have shared our thoughts, emotions, and aspirations with. Jung might argue that in these relationships, we project parts of our own psyche, seeing not just another person but a reflection of our ideals. When betrayal occurs, it feels as though a part of ourselves has been rejected or attacked. Stoic philosophy offers an enlightening perspective on emotional investment. Epictetus taught that while relationships are valuable, our emotional well-being should never depend entirely on others. The Stoics emphasize distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. Clearly, the actions of others fall into the latter category. By mentally preparing for the possibility that even those we trust the most may one day betray us, we protect our inner peace. However, embracing this Stoic principle does not mean becoming emotionally detached or cynical. Instead, it fosters resilience, the ability to care deeply while maintaining a firm anchor within our own rational and moral framework. This balance allows us to form meaningful connections without being undone if they turn sour. Understanding the role of emotional investment in betrayal helps us navigate these experiences with wisdom and grace. Our pain is not a weakness, but a reflection of our capacity for deep connection. Through reassessing our emotional boundaries and expectations, we can heal and emerge with a stronger sense of self. As we move forward, it's essential to explore practical strategies to recognize and handle betrayal effectively. Combining psychological insights with Stoic principles can guide us toward healthier, more resilient relationships. This journey is not just about avoiding pain, but about transforming it into deeper wisdom, understanding human nature more profoundly, and strengthening our emotional foundations. Navigating relationships requires vigilance and preparedness. Recognizing early signs of betrayal isn't just about self-protection. It's about fostering resilience and deeper understanding. Let's explore practical ways to identify and respond to potential betrayals while maintaining our inner peace. First and foremost, awareness is crucial. This means paying attention to subtle changes in people's behavior and attitudes. Jung's insights into the shadow self remind us that what remains unaddressed within a person often surfaces in their actions, sometimes in the form of betrayal. For instance, if someone who once shared openly suddenly becomes secretive or distant, it could signal an internal struggle or a shift in their feelings toward you. From a Stoic standpoint, Marcus Aurelius advised vigilance in social interactions, emphasizing that we should not only listen to people's words, but also observe their actions. Stoicism teaches us to discern the nature of our relationships and adjust our expectations accordingly. If we notice inconsistencies between someone's words and actions, or detect patterns that suggest hidden motives, it may be time to reevaluate our trust in them. Setting and maintaining boundaries is another essential step. Stoic principles reinforce the importance of focusing on what we can control, including our personal boundaries. By clearly defining what is acceptable in our relationships, we make it more difficult for others to disrupt our peace of mind. Boundaries also serve as a test, revealing who respects them and who resists them. communication is equally vital. Many betrayals can be prevented or mitigated through open, honest dialogue. If you sense that something is amiss, addressing it directly can clarify misunderstandings and signal that you are aware of the situation. However, this does not mean confronting every small behavior shift. Rather, it involves choosing your battles wisely and speaking up when necessary. By integrating psychological insight with Stoic wisdom, we cultivate a balanced approach to relationships, one that combines trust with awareness, openness with caution, and emotional depth with resilience. Betrayal, though painful, can be a valuable teacher, guiding us toward a deeper understanding of ourselves and those around us. Building a strong support system and nurturing a variety of relationships serve as a safeguard against the emotional toll of any single relationship turning sour. By diversifying our emotional investments, we can reduce the weight any one connection holds over our well-being. The Stoics remind us to cherish relationships while also preserving a core part of ourselves that remains unwavering and unaffected by external circumstances. This balance enables us to form meaningful connections without becoming overly dependent on them for our happiness or self-worth. By incorporating these principles into our daily lives, we not only shield ourselves from the pain of betrayal, but also engage more thoughtfully and deeply with those around us. It's about being intentional rather than reactive, shaping our relationships with awareness and wisdom. As we grow and learn, our ability to navigate life's challenges, including betrayal, becomes one of our greatest strengths. As we conclude this exploration of betrayal and its emotional impact, it's essential to recognize that understanding its causes and effects isn't just about avoiding future pain, it's about gaining strength. True empowerment comes from a deeper understanding of human nature and our own resilience, allowing us to approach relationships with greater clarity and wisdom. Recognizing betrayal's lessons helps refine our understanding of trust, human behavior, and our emotional responses. It invites introspection on our values and expectations, sharpening our judgment. From a psychological perspective, Carl Jung might suggest that betrayal isn't merely a personal attack, but a clash of differing psychological patterns. This shift in perspective transforms our reaction from mere hurt to one of learning and growth. Stoic principles further reinforce this empowerment. The Stoics teach that our greatest power lies in how we respond to adversity. Marcus Aurelius frequently emphasized the importance of maintaining composure and using challenges as opportunities to cultivate virtue and strength. When applied to betrayal, this mindset allows us to remain steady and unshaken by external events, preserving our dignity and peace of mind regardless of others' actions. Moreover, this understanding prevents us from becoming bitter. Instead, it turns painful experiences into catalysts for personal growth. Each moment of betrayal and broken trust becomes an opportunity to emerge wiser, more discerning, and less reactive, better equipped to navigate the complexities of human relationships. This doesn't mean closing ourselves off or becoming cynical. Rather, it means fostering a mature awareness of both the good and the bad in all relationships. True empowerment also involves taking an active role in shaping our social world, rather than merely reacting to others' actions. Learning from betrayal equips us with the knowledge and tools to set boundaries, communicate openly, and build a diverse network of relationships. These strategies enhance both our emotional resilience and our ability to engage with others in a healthy, balanced way. Thank you for joining us here at Stoic Journal. If you found these insights valuable and want to explore more, check out one of the recommended videos on your screen. Together, let's continue uncovering the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and its relevance in modern life.